Welcome to Let's Go, a podcast from Chestnut Mountain Church. And this week, it looks a lot different. This week, next week, and the week after, we may not have a banana, but we will have Brandon and Brandon with us on the podcast.
We'll have some kind of snack.
Will we? Is that a promise?
We got to eat something.
Well, about that, we can only eat some things, which we'll talk to that later, but we are in the middle or in the beginning of a Daniel fast. But before we get there, Brandon Bridge Farmer, say hello.
Hello.
Hey, Brandon.
Brandon Sloan.
Hey, Brandon.
Lots of Brandons. How are we going to organize that?
Jared Cagle.
Yeah, that's my name. The host or something. So anyway, this is awesome. I'm so glad y'all are here to help carry the load. We got some exciting things to talk about this week on Let's Go. As we mentioned, we launched into the Daniel fast corporately. Last week was the last week in the Reset series where we finished the book of Haggai, 2-chapter book. Took us a long time to do it, but it was awesome. Brandon, I want you to talk a little bit about the worship environment that we've seen the last few weeks. Brian mentioned it from the platform yesterday and then again really a couple times last week. So talk to us about the experience in the room and how the worship environment maybe has shifted in this season.
Yeah, it's been really special. A lot of people may attribute response in worship to like a song selection or like a set list or whatever, but the reality is it's like far more than that. Like worship is a response to the word being proclaimed and like cutting through hearts, and it's a response to the conditions of people's hearts. And so I think our experience in worship the last couple weeks and hopefully moving forward has been shifting kind of as a result of just Brian's obedience to continue in preaching the word faithfully, and our willingness to just go there and to be open and transparent and be willing to sit under the word. And when that happens, hearts change, and we start to look more like heaven.
That's good.
And I mean, that's ultimately what we're going to be doing for
good.
eternity. And so that's a good thing.
Yeah, it is. That's awesome. Well, as we learned yesterday towards the end, Haggai just has been a bombshell the whole time. But one of the things that Brian challenged us to do is come with 5 words that God has spoken to us in this season. And he actually had people stand up right in the middle and speak it out, which was really cool. Would you guys, I'll share mine first, and then I'll ask you to share yours. Mine comes straight out of the text, but it hit me really hard for a couple weeks there in the beginning. Consider your ways. And really, as God says that to the people there in the beginning, it was a challenge to me as well. Consider your ways. Consider what you're doing.
That's good. There's so many. Even listening to people stand up yesterday kind of hit me with some that from the text. Consider your ways for me. Really, I would even go with it is not about me. I think Brian shared that, but like that whole idea. I love the one that he makes us holy, not happy.
Yeah, well.
There's so many. This whole book, this tiny little book, is just jammed full of such a challenge to
that's awesome.
Refocus on who we are.
That's awesome.
For me, I'd probably say you are not an expert. Part of my personality is I want to be an expert at whatever I'm doing, and sometimes just personally that carries over into worship and to like our profession. And once we get to a place where we admit that, hey, we don't have it figured out, and we have to rely on our source for our strength and not our own understanding, then that's when we see he really moves.
It's awesome. As we lean into this fast and we launched it yesterday, Pastor Brandon, I want to come to you because in a time where, especially a corporate fast, it can be really confusing. It kind of feels like we're just all dieting together if we're not careful. And I want to come to you to talk about the spiritual attitude that we're bringing to this fast. I mean, you're the one who brought the banana to the table. I mean,
and fun fact, I don't like bananas. But fasting isn't about me.
That's right.
And it is in the sense of I want to get more of God. and I want him to have ultimately more of who I am. That's
Mm-hmm.
what we talked about
Yep.
2 weeks ago. And so the heartbeat we have to come to this with is not about me.
Yep.
And so I'm setting aside my preferences and my even pleasures to seek after God.
Yep.
That he might take what I'm focusing on outside of my time with him,
Yeah.
and focus more on him. And
That's
so
good.
we have to come at it to not of just about like, well, I can't eat this or I can't eat that. It's I get to be with God.
Yes.
And in the moment where my body's like desiring something other than God, I have to recenter it back on God.
Yeah.
And so
That's it.
it's a beautiful thing. It's a difficult thing. I mean,
Yeah,
I
it
woke up
is.
with a headache
Yeah.
already. And so, but God's been really good even 24 hours into this.
That's good. And as your stomach aches and your head aches and all the things,
Yeah.
it's like you're reminded of why you're doing this. And it could drive us in a different direction, but the attitude that we choose in those moments is so
Yep.
important.
Feast on the word.
Yes. Yeah.
We got to, and that's it. We got to allow. Jesus says that it is. We don't just live on bread alone.
That's
but
right.
on every word that comes from God. And so, if we come to it with that attitude, like I don't need food. Like I don't need these things.
Yeah.
I need God.
Yep.
He's going to meet us in a completely different manner
It's
than
awesome.
if we just were trying to be healthy.
Yeah, there you go. And that's where we are. So join us for the next 20 days, 19 days, however many days.
Math is hard.
Math is hard.
20 and a half.
Go Knights, Johnson graduates. But, 20 days left or so. Join us, dig in, feast on the word. What a word
Great.
from Pastor Brandon there. So until next time.
Get you a banana.
And let's
Let's
go.
go.